Hi, here I am creating a YouTube video and try to show you why we get to use the actual output. Okay, when we talk about variance, when we talk about the exercise in chapter 16. All right. First thing you folks need to know is what is output, what is input. Okay, let's say we have companies producing laptop, and the output, of course, is going to be the actual final products. Okay, it's going to be laptop. Okay, when we talk about inputs, it's going to be the labors, materials, and overhead. Okay, these three components we talk about it for the whole quarter. Okay, all right. Second things I want you to know is flexible budget. Okay, the textbook we use right now does not do a very good job on explaining this. Okay, I found this definition from another textbook. I think we should use this one to understand what is flexible budget. Okay, this one, flexible budget is an estimate of what revenue and cost should have been given the actual level of activities for the period. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, it means that based on the actual output level, okay, let's say we produce 2,000 laptops this year. Okay, giving the actual output 2,000 laptops, what will be the estimated revenue and cost? Okay, all right, based on the actual output. All right, okay. If you understand this, okay, let's go take one more step. Take a look at the picture I show you. Actually, this one is from page 611. Okay, from the textbook we use right now. Okay, I remember that I show you this one in the class. All right. This one is the diagram we use and try to show you what is price variance, what is efficiency variance. Okay, let's try to understand what is going on here. All right. First part on the left hand side is the actual part. Okay, we have actual input price times the actual quantity of input. Okay, on the right hand side we have standard input price times standard quantity of input allowed for actual good output. Okay, pay attention to this one. Okay, allowed input, SQ means standard quantity inputs allowed for actual good output. So meaning that if, like, go back to the example I just gave you folks, 2,000 laptops. Okay, we try to figure out what is the standard quantity of input allowed for the 2,000 output, 2,000 laptops. So it should be based on actual output. Okay, and let's take a look at the left hand side. It's the actual input. Okay, actually what happened is it should be AQ of input allowed for actual good output. Okay, the books do not put down allowed for actual output. The reason is because it's already actual quantity, so you don't need to. It actually imply this one is the AQ of input allowed for actual goods output. Okay, so basically what we are doing here is AQ is the input, the actual quantity input allowed for actual output. Okay, this one is still is allowed for actual output, and this one SQ is also allowed for actual output. So pretty much when we talk about price variance, efficiency variance, it's based on actual output. Actual output. And the reason here is it doesn't put allowed for actual output is because it's already actual. So it implies that we this one should be the actual output. Okay. All right. Let's use example. Try to show you how to use how to understand input and output things. Okay. Here, this one is actually the homework question I gave you folks. One of the homework questions. Here, this question asks us to calculate what is the direct labors and variable overhead price and efficiency variance. Okay, let's take a look at the overhead price and efficiency variance. We're going to use this diagram because the price variance is different between these two numbers. The efficiency variance is going to be the difference between these two numbers. So basically, when I ask you to calculate price and efficiency variance, you got to figure out this three number, AQ times AP times AQ, SP times AQ, SP times SQ. Okay, let's take a look at what happened here. Okay, first we know that the actual variable overhead is and again, the reason why I start with the overhead and then direct labor is because overhead is easier to show you how to do it, and the direct labor, this question twists some information a little bit. You need to do one more step to figure out something. So that's why I'm going to use because overhead calculations are a little bit more straightforward. So I'm going to use the overhead first. Okay. So basically, we try to figure out just three numbers for overhead. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at what happened here. For AP AQ times AQ, okay, we don't actually need to look for AP and AQ. The reason is because we know the cost already, the actual cost, actual variable overhead cost. Okay, the actual one, because this question is given, we don't actually need to find out what is AP and AQ, so we can directly put it down here. Okay, for SP times AQ, okay, we know that actual quantity, okay, for actual quantity is 92,000. Okay, actual direct labor hours work, okay, is 92,000. Okay, and the standard SP, standard price, is the rate for that is 30. Standard variable rates per standard direct labor hour, okay, 30. So we use 30 times 92,000. Okay. All right, the tricky part is going to be the SPU times SQ. Okay, remember here is that for SP, we know it's 30. That's easy. Times SQ. It should be the standard quantity of input allowed for actual output. Okay. So the actual output is 60,000. Okay. And we know that for the standard labor hours allowed per unit for output is 1.5. So we got to use 1.5 times 60,000. We will get the SQ, standard quantity, okay, for the actual output. That's what we are talking about because the actual output is 60,000. Okay, we want to find out standard quantity for actual output. That's how we do it. Okay, because 1.5 is the standard. When we talk about standard, you can consider it as a budget. Okay, we expect we're going to use 1.5 hours for one output. Okay, for 1 units of output. Okay, and also for SP, it's the standard price. Is we expect that it's going to cost us $30 per direct labor hours in terms of variable overhead. Okay, so that's what we do. And then the next step is we try to find out the difference between these three numbers. Okay, and that's why we get the difference is 200,000 because the actual price is greater than because the actual price is less than the standard price. Okay, and that's actually we like it. Okay, it lower our overhead costs. Okay, so it's favorable. Okay, on the other hand, it's unfavorable. Okay, all right. That will be the first part, the overhead, price, and efficiency variance. Okay, so basically, you just need to find out this three number and find out the difference between these three numbers. Okay, the first one is going to be price variance. The other one is going to be efficiency variance. And I think this diagram will be a good one you put down on your cheat sheet when you try to prepare the cheat sheet for the final exam. Okay, all right. Exactly what we are doing right here. Exactly what the diagram show us to do. Okay. All right. That's the first part. Let's take a look at the second one. The direct labor is price and efficiency variance. And again, for direct labor, AP times AQ, because this one is giving the actual price, actual total cost is giving. We don't need to figure out that. Okay, so the whole number AP times AQ for direct labor cost, it will be just this one. Okay. For SP times AQ, okay, we know AQ is going to be 92,000. Actual quantity, actual hours is going to be 92,000. All right, but we don't know SP. Okay, same thing here. We know that, okay, it's based on the actual output. Then, however, we don't know the XP. Okay, same thing. Just like similar with this one. However, we don't know the standard price for direct labor. Okay. One more thing we know is we know the direct labor efficiency variance is 40,000 unfavorable. That means that the difference between these two numbers is going to be 40,000. So here we can set up an equation like this. Okay. This number minus this number, we get 40,000 because it's unfavorable, meaning that this number should be greater than this number. Okay. Solve these questions, we should be able to get that SP equal 20. Okay. All right. If we can figure out SP equal 20, then we can easily put the SP 20 back here and find out the difference between these two numbers. Okay. And I believe you folks should have this. Okay. It's going to be 135,000 unfavorable. Okay. And that will be all about the variance, okay, for this chapter.